Dear pupils, parents and guardians, let me start by thanking you for being a part of all our remote learning platforms, particularly our television program, The Classroom in Your Home. Each feedback has been awesome. Good job, you. Our teachers have been working assiduously to break the learning laws during this critical period. Therefore, I am pleased to inform you that the Classroom in Your Home has been extended to accommodate the lower primary classes and a dedicated lesson to cater for our special needs pupils in line with our mandate of providing an all-inclusive and quality basic education in our dear state. This program is fully sponsored by the Universal Basic Education Commission, UBEC, and supported by the Lagos State Universal Basic Education Board under the COVID-19 Blended Learning Intervention Initiative. Please encourage your wards to tune in and take every advantage of this laudable program. Also remember, this pandemic is not over. Let us continue to abide by all health and safety guidelines as stipulated by the government. At LASUBEB, we are determined to leave no child behind in our quest to improve the standard of basic education in our state. Thank you.
Hello pupils, you're welcome to another wonderful edition of your favorite program on television, The Classroom in Your Home, a program sponsored by the Universal Basic Education Commission, UBEC, and packaged by the Lagos State Universal Basic Education Board, LASUBEB. It is to ensure that you are academically engaged whether you are in school or not. I am Auntie Fumi, your English Studies teacher, and I have with me here today your wonderful teachers. As usual, I have the mathematician, Uncle Agbaje.
Hello, children.
That's your math teacher. And your popular teacher, Uncle Popo.
Hello, puppies.
He's going to take you through all the subjects under general studies. And we have our sign language interpreter in the house, Uncle Wale. Together, we are bringing the classroom into your home. Please stay tuned. In our English Studies lesson today, we'll look at another interesting topic. And the topic is active and passive voice. Yes, that's the topic for today. But before we go into the learning objective, let's have the correction to our homework. Remember that in our last topic, we considered comparison of adjectives. And you were asked to choose the correct forms of the adjectives in brackets. How many answers did you get right? I am proud of you. You deserve to be celebrated with a cheer. Good job, you. Now to the learning objective for this lesson. By the end of this lesson, you should be able to identify active voice and passive voice. Not only that, you should also be able to change an active voice to a passive voice correctly, and vice versa. Change active voice to passive voice. Change passive voice to active voice. Are we ready? Please sit up. Let's learn. Active voice. Active voice. When we say something is active, you know what it means? Yes, to be full of life. Yes, good. Now let's look at active voice as it is applicable here. The active voice describes a sentence. The active voice describes a sentence where the subject performs the action stated by the verb. The active voice does what? Describes a sentence where the subject performs the action stated by the verb. In an active voice, the doer which is the subject, performs the action, and the doer, which is the subject, always starts the sentence. In an active voice, the doer, when I say the doer, I mean the subject, performs the action, and it always starts the sentence. Example, Taiwo killed the rat. What is the subject here? Taiwo. Taiwo is the subject, is the doer. What did he do? He killed the rat. Ade plays football. Ade plays football. What is the subject? Ade is the doer. He performs the action. In the sentence above, Taiwo and Ade are the subject of the sentences. Let us note that only sentences with transitive verbs can be changed to the passive voice. Now, let's look at the passive voice. The passive voice describes a sentence where the subject is acted upon by the verb. The passive voice describes a sentence where the subject is acted upon by the verb. It is talking about the receiver of the action, also known as the object. When we're talking about the active voice, we talked about the doer, that is the subject. The passive voice now is talking about the receiver of the action, which is known as the what? Object. Good job, you. Known as the object. Let's look at these following examples. Taiwo killed the rat. Taiwo killed the rat. Another one. Ade plays football. In the sentences above, rat and football are the objects or receivers of the action performed. Now, changing active to passive voice. Let's talk about changing active to passive voice. The subject becomes the object and vice versa. When you want to change an active voice to a passive voice, the subject becomes the object. The doer becomes the receiver. Or the receiver may become the doer. That is what we mean by vice versa. I will become me. We becomes us. She becomes her. He becomes him. The verb is changed to the past participle. The verb is changed to what? The past participle. The auxiliary verb should agree with the new subject. The auxiliary verb to be used must agree, should agree with the new subject. Using the simple present tense, let's have the following examples. Ade plays footballs. That is the active voice. Ade plays football. Now let's change it to passive voice. It becomes football is played by Ade. Ade is the subject. When we want to change to the passive voice, Ade becomes the object. Football is the object in the active voice. When we want to change to the passive voice, it becomes the subject or the doer. So Ade plays football becomes football is played by Ade. Still in the simple present tense. She sells books. She sells books. Let's change it to the passive voice. Books are sold by her. Remember, she becomes her. Books are sold by her. Let's look at the present continuous tense now. Ade is playing football. When we want to change to the passive voice, it becomes football was played by Ade. Still in the present continuous tense. She is selling books. She is selling books now. It becomes books are being sold by her. Books are being sold by her. Let's look at examples under simple past tense. Ade played football. Ade played football. Change to passive. Change to the passive voice. It becomes football was played by Ade. Football was played by Ade. Another example, she sold books. She sold books. Books were sold by her. Books were sold by her. Now let's look at examples under past perfect tense. Ade had played football. Ade had played football. That is a completed task. Ade had played football. Change to passive voice. It becomes football had been played by Ade. Are you following the lesson? Well done, children. Past perfect tense. So let's have this example. She had sold books. She had sold books. Changing to passive, it becomes books had been sold by her. Books had been sold by her. Now, in the past continuous tense, let's have the following examples. Ade was playing football. Ade was playing football. When you want to change to passive voice, it now becomes football was being played by Ade. Football was being played by Ade. She was selling books. She was selling books. Change to passive voice. It will become what? You are brilliant. You're right. Books were being sold by her. Books were being sold by her. Now, let's look at questions under active and passive voice. That is changing active to passive voice using questions. Does he eat rice? Does he eat rice? Let's try to change that to the passive voice. Is rice eaten by him? Is rice eaten by him? Is he writing a letter? Is he writing a letter? Change to passive. Can you try that? Yes, that is it. Is a letter being written by him? Is a letter being written by him? Have they finished the work? When we want to change to passive voice, it becomes, has the work been finished by them? It is evaluation time. We've been able to change active voice to the passive voice. We have changed sentences in the active voice to the passive voice, following the stated rules, following the rules that were given to us. Now it is time for us to see how attentive we have been in the course of the lesson. Please turn each of the following into the passive voice. We are starting a new term by September. We are starting a new term by September. Change to passive voice. Mr. Deji drives a carrier car. Mr. Deji drives a carrier car. Change to the passive voice. Number 3, we have done the work. We have done the work. Number 4, Tony took Damilola's pen to school. Tony took Damilola's pen to school. And number 5, she was not carrying a basket. She was not carrying a basket. You have 1 minute to change the sentences to the passive voice, and your time starts now. Eyes on me. I believe it's not a difficult thing to do. You can do it. I trust you. You are amazing children. Now let's have the correction to the activity. I got the 5 correctly. What about you? You got everything? Oh, you 3. No problem. You still deserve to be celebrated with a cheer. Well done. Now to our assignment. It's time for homework. Change into active voice. Beans was eaten by Kunle. Bread is sold by Bola. Change into passive voice. Obi's father is beating him. Stella will not attend the party. And number 5, the bus carries 30 passengers. Make sure you do your homework. That is the only thing that guarantees you winning packs of Good Life Magic Juice. That's it for today. We've come to the end of the English Studies lesson for today. I enjoyed the lesson. It was fun learning how to change from active voice to the passive voice. Are you sure? Well done, children. It's time to hand you over to the mathematician, Okwagbaje, for the mathematics lesson. Do not forget, Auntie Fumi is always proud of you. Well done.
Hello, children. You're welcome to this segment of the program, The Classroom in Your Home. It is mathematics time where we deal with a lot of numbers. I'm your number man, Uncle Agbaje. Today in mathematics, we will continue our work on the application of ratio to everyday life. But before we go into today's learning, let's look at the correction to the previous homework. In the last lesson, you were asked to find the ratio of pupils to teachers in a school, or you asked to find the number of teachers if the ratio of pupils to teachers is 5:1 and the number of pupils are 105. And you also asked to find the number of gravel that will be used if sand and gravel are to be mixed in the ratio 4:3 and 80 kilograms of sand is used. Let's just see how this is done. It's actually very easy. We're told that the ratio of pupils to teachers is 5:1, and then we're told that there are 105 pupils. So what we need to do is, how many times did we get 5 pupils up to 105? And that should be 21 times. Is that what you got? Excellent. Now 5 times 21 will give me 105 teachers, which means that for every 5 pupils, there will be 1 teacher. So if I have 5 pupils in 21 places, I will have 1 teacher in 21 places. That is 1 times 21, and that is 21. So at the end of the day, there will be 21 teachers in the school. Is that what you got, my friend? Excellent. So the next question says that sand and gravel are mixed in the ratio 4:3, probably in a construction site, to make pavement. Now, in total, 80 kilograms of sand is used, and how much gravel will be used then if the sharing formula is 4:3. And that means that for every 4 measures of sand that you have, you will have 3 measures of gravel, and that is the appropriate mixture for the appropriate ratio for the mixture. So if at the end of the day we end up using 80 kilograms of gravel, that means we've had 444, probably 444 in till we get to 80. So how many times will we get 4 to add up to 80? That will be 20 times. And so for every time that we take 4 measures of 4 kilograms, we will get 3 measures of gravel. For every 4 measures of sand, there will be 3 measures of gravel. So 4 in 20 places gives us 80 kilograms. Then we will have 3 in 20 places, giving us 60 kilograms. And so for making this pavement, we will need 60 kilograms of gravel if 80 kilograms of sand were to be used. So I'm sure that you got that right because it was quite easy. Yes, you did, because you're smart. So I'm going to celebrate you with a cheer. Now, moving on to today's learning outcomes. We're still working with application of ratio to real life situations. So what are the learning outcomes? By the end of today, we're going to be able to share quantities, fixed quantities, using given ratio. And what we did in the last lesson is we have one quantity and the ratio is given, so we have to find the other quantity to make everything to be appropriate in the sharing formula. But today we will just be given the ratios and the whole quantity, then we have to share them. I will be able to share quantities into 2 and into 3 according to the given ratios, and we should also be able to relate quantities to the total. What do all these mean? Drop your pen, sit back, relax, and follow Uncle Agbaje as it shows you the way. Let's get started then. Now, applications of ratio. Ratio can be used in sharing things among different people. We've already talked about that in the previous lesson. But let's look at another variant to the problem. Consider this problem. Umar again and Z are to share 20 sweets in the ratio 2:3. Now, we don't know how many Umar will get. We don't know how many Z will get. What we know is that altogether they must share 20 sweets. You know, sort of like Nigeria has some revenue, money to share to states, and there is a sharing formula like the ratio. Now, the president has to decide how much each state will get based on the sharing formula, except that his own sharing formula will be like among 36, 37 entities, 36 states and 1 federal capital territory. But for you, my friend, you're only dealing with Umar and Z. You have just 20 sweets to share between them in the ratio 2:3. Who gets 2? Who gets 3? Of course, Umar will get 2 because he comes first and 2 comes first. Z will get 3. So let's just see how we're going to share this. So that's Umar and that's Z, and these are the 20 sweets we're going to share. So the easiest way will probably be to take 2, give Umar, take 3, give Z. Like that. See, I've taken the 5 on top. I've given 2 to Umar and 3 to Z. Okay? So we're interested in how many Z and Umar will get at the end of the day to conform to this sharing formula. And so giving them another 2, 3, another 2, 3, and finally we end it 2, 3. At the end of the day, Umar gets 2, 4, 6, 8. Umar gets 8 sweets and Z gets 3, 6, 9, 12. Gets 12 sweets. So 8 plus 12, we say that the number of sweets complete, we have 20. And we have followed the sharing formula. So it's not just about, you know what, Umar, you're supposed to get less than Z, so we'll give you 7. And then Z, you take 13. No, it has to be according to the sharing formula. And you will see that since Umar is getting 8 and Z is getting 12, by the time you divide to the lowest form of the ratio, you will get 2:3. Okay, so what we have done now is that we have taken our quantity, we have decided how many parts should there be at the end of the day. And then we have divided the whole quantity into those parts, and then we have given everyone his or her due. So now, Umar gets 2 out of 5 parts, and that means, see, this is where our knowledge of fraction of quantities come in. We have talked about fraction of quantities in the last class. So 2/5 of 20 sweets is what Umar is going to get, because everything is going to be into 5, and he's going to get 2 parts, as we have said. So without even bothering with drawing anything, we can actually calculate it. Umar will get 2/5 of the sweets, and that is 2 over 5 times 20. Now 5 goes here, 1. Okay, so let me just use 5 goes here, 1, 5 goes here, 4. And so 2 times 4, of course, will give us 8 sweets. Let me erase that for you. Okay, so 8 sweets. Now, what about Z? Z is going to get 3 out of 5 parts. And that is 3/5 of the whole 20 sweets. And so, using our knowledge of fraction of quantities, we're going to see that 3 over 5 times 20. Now, 5 goes here, 1. 5 goes here, 4. Now, 3 times 4, of course, my friend, is 12 sweets, confirming that Z will get 12 sweets. Now, with this knowledge, we wouldn't need to keep on drawing every time we want to share things among different people. We only need to decide how many parts will there be in total. Then what is this person getting out of the whole part? What is the other one getting out of the whole part? Let's check out another problem. Ponder over this. 2,000 naira is shared in the ratio of 7:3 between Faka and Osarentin. Now, how much does each person receive? Okay, so, my friend, if Faka and Osarentin are going to share something in the ratio 7:3, that means the first person, which is Faka, will receive 7 parts. And the second person, which is Osarentin, will receive 3 parts. So, altogether, how many parts will there be? Of course, there will be 10 parts. So what we're going to do is that we are going to share this money, divide this money into 10 parts. As you can see, Faka gets 7, Osarentin gets 3, and then the total is 10 parts. So if the whole is divided into 10 parts, then Faka receives 7 parts out of 10. And 7 parts out of 10 means 7/10 of the whole money. So we have 7/10 of the whole money, which is 2,000 naira. So now calculating this mathematically, 7/10 times 2,000. So 1 0 just cancels 1 0 here. And now 1 times 1 is 1. That's a trivial denominator. It doesn't affect the result. 7 times 200 is 1,400 naira. And that's what Faka will get. Okay, note that down, 1,400. Let's see what Osarentin will get. If the whole money is divided into 10 parts, Osarentin will receive just 3 parts. Okay? Osarentin will receive just 3 parts, and that is 3 parts out of 10. And that's 3/10 of the whole money. Okay? So Osarentin gets 3/10 of 2,000 naira, and of course, working for that, off becomes times, and 2,000 is here. So just crossing out 1 0 each, which is the same thing as dividing by 10. Now we have 3 times 200 naira, and of course that is 600 naira. So now Osarentin gets 600 naira, and Faka gets 1,400 naira. And 1,400 naira plus 600 naira, that, my friend, is 2,000 naira. We have shared the money justly according to the sharing formula that we are given. And having this knowledge, my friend, you will never go wrong. So let's say this problem says we are to share 70 liters of petrol among 3 drivers in this ratio 1 to 2 to 4. Okay, so how many liters of petrol will each get? Now we're sharing a quantity among 3 people. So how is this done? So sharing 70 liters among 3 drivers, how many liters of petrol will each get? Well, the process is the same. Imagine that we have 3 drivers. The first one will receive 1 part. The second one will receive 2 parts. The third one will receive 4 parts. How many parts altogether? There will be 7 parts. That means we're supposed to divide the whole quantity of petrol into 7 parts, and then give 1 to one person, 2 to another person, 4 to another person. So let's just get right into it. Say driver A, driver B, driver C. I've chosen to name them that way. You can give them any name you want. So the first one gets 1 part, 2 parts, 4 parts, total is 7 parts. Now, if the whole 70 liters is divided into 7 parts, then driver A will receive just 1 part. And that is 1 part out of 7, which is 1/7 of the whole 70 liters. So we just worked it out easily. You see 7 goes in 70 10 times. So 7 goes here 1, 7 goes here 10, then 1 times 10 is 10. Now, that's 10 liters for the first driver. Now, if the whole of 70 liters is divided into 7 parts, then the driver B receives 2 parts. And that is 2 out of 7 parts, which is 2/7 of 70 liters. So we write that out as 2/7 times 70/1. Now, of course, 7 goes in 70 10 times. So 2 times 10 will be 20 liters. And finally, for the last driver, driver C, he will get 4 parts out of 7 parts. And that is 4/7 of 70 liters, which is 4/7 times 70. And of course, 7 goes here 1, 7 goes here 10. then 1 times 1 is 1 in the denominator. That is trivial. But 4 times 10 is 40 liters. And so the third driver will receive 40 liters. So 10 liters, 20 liters, 40 liters. That's the way we're going to share that quantity of petrol, my friend. Now, I believe you're ready for one of your own. So take this question. Divide 180 mangoes between Umar and Z in the ratio 5:4 respectively. That means Umar gets 5, Z gets 4. How much does each person receive? You have 1 minute. Begin. Alrighty then, I believe you're done by now. Let's check out how many mangoes Umar is going to get and how many mangoes that Z is going to get. So Umar gets 5 parts. Whenever Umar gets 5 mangoes, Z will get 4 mangoes. So Umar gets 5 parts, Z gets 4 parts. Altogether there will be 9 parts. And so Umar is getting 5 out of 9, Z is getting 4 out of 9. That's exactly what we're going to do. Umar will get 5 parts out of 9 parts. That is 5/9 of 180 mangoes. So we take the off to multiplication. That is 5/9 times 180. So 9 goes here 1, 9 goes here 2, here 0. And we have 20. So 1 times 1 in the denominator is trivial. We do not need it. So when we have 1 in the denominator, we do not need it. 5 times 20 mangoes, that's 100 mangoes. Umar is going to get 100 mangoes. I mean, that boy is enjoying. All right, so let's see how many Z is going to get. Automatically, Z will get the rest, but let's just calculate it the normal way we've been doing. If Z is going to get 4 parts out of 9 parts, then that means that Z is getting 4/9 of 180 mangoes. And of course, if we change this off to multiplication, we're going to have 4/9 times 180 mangoes. Now dividing, 9 goes here 1, 9 goes here 20. Now 4 times 20 mangoes assures us that Z will get the remaining 80 mangoes. Is that what you got as well? Excellent job, you. Now you're ready for the assignment, which is coming up right about now. Copy down these questions. All right, I believe you're done. You solve them. Ade and Wale share 240 naira in the ratio 2:3. How much does Wale get? That's number 1. 2 kilograms of flour is shared in the ratio of 4:6 between Ololade and Chingere. How much does each receive? I'll see you in the next class for the correction to this. I'm going to hand you over now to Uncle Pokfu for the general studies lesson. Till I come your way in the next lesson, remain wonderful mathematicians.
Hello pupils, you are welcome to General Studies class. I am Uncle Popo. Uncle Popo is here.
I am also here.
Good. We are here together.
100% attention.
Good. 100% attention is what you are promising to give me in today's lesson. Our subject for today is agricultural science. Agricultural science is the subject we want to treat today. Before we go into today's lesson, I just want to ask you a few questions, and this is how you respond. We have 2 answers, and your answer should not be that you really want to be or you want to go into whatever I ask you, but what I'm saying is that you just tell me, your response should be that if you understand the vocabulary there, you say great. If you don't understand it, you just say You say what? Those are just the two answers. If you understand the vocabulary there, you say great. If you don't understand, you say Good. Now, first question. How many of you would like to go into pomology in future? Pomology. Some are saying some are saying great. Don't forget, if you don't understand what pomology is, say if you understand, you say great. How many of you would like to practice olericulture? Some are saying some are saying great. How many of you would like to practice apiculture? Good. All these, that the apiculture, pomology, olericulture, we shall be looking at all these in today's lesson. We will get to know the meaning of what we are talking about. Our topic for today is agriculture and its branches. Say that. Agriculture and its branches. Our learning objectives. By the end of the lesson, you should be able to define agriculture, and 2, list the branches of agriculture. What is agriculture? I know you are very familiar with this. Agriculture is the art and science of, what are the things they do? Cultivating the soil, growing crops, and raising of livestock. Don't forget those 3 things. Agriculture is the art and science of 1, cultivating the soil, growing crops, and raising of livestock. That is the meaning of agriculture. It's the art and science of cultivating the soil, growing crops, and raising of livestock. And we have 4 main branches of agriculture we want to talk about today. 4 main branches of agriculture. And what are the branches we want to talk about? The first one is livestock production. Say that. Livestock production. That's one of the branches. The second branch is crop production. Say that. Crop production. And the third one is agricultural economies. Say that. Agricultural economies. And the last branch, the fourth one, that's agricultural engineering. Say that. Agricultural engineering. Let's look at livestock production and see what we are talking about. Under livestock production, we have, and in today's lesson, I want you to learn, unlearn, and relearn. We have some words that you may want to take as big grammar of vocabulary to you, but they have very simple meanings. Just concentrate and listen. Under livestock production, we have nomadic pastoralism. It's not too big for you. And as you are progressing in your studies, you should be getting familiar with some new words. Nomadic pastoralism, say that. And what is the meaning of that? It is the keeping of cattle while moving from one region in search of pasture and clean water. The moving of cattle from one place to another to get food for them, to look for green grass for them to feed them with. That's nomadic pastoralism. I know in some parts of this country we have where you see the head of cattle and you see one man trying to lead them, moving from one place to another to feed them. So that is nomadic pastoralism. That's under livestock production. That's number 1, nomadic pastoralism. The keeping of cattle while moving from one place to another to search for food to feed them with. And the second one under livestock production is poultry farming. Say that. Poultry farming. And that one means the rearing of poultry. Rearing of poultry such as chicken, turkey, dog, pigeon. So that's what we mean by poultry farming. That's another under livestock production. Poultry farming. That's the rearing of poultry. And when we say poultry, we are referring to chicken, the turkey, dog, pigeon, and so on. Next one is pig farming. Say that. That's another one under livestock production. Pig farming. We all know pig. This is just a picture of how pig looks. So that's a pig there. So pig farming is the rearing of pigs. It's what? rearing of pigs. That's pig farming. If they ask you what is pig farming is the rearing of pigs. That's all. So that's another one under livestock production. Next one is apiculture. Say that. You know, I asked the other time, how many of you want to go into apiculture? What is the meaning? It's very simple. Apiculture is beekeeping, the keeping of bee. I know some of you will have seen bee before. It sounds and go around. This is just a picture of how it looks like. And it's from bee that we get our honey, the honey, that sweet honey. So we get honey from bee. So apiculture is beekeeping. What is apiculture? Apiculture is beekeeping. Now you now know the meaning of that now. How many of you want to go into apiculture? You now know that I'm saying. How many of you want to go into beekeeping? So good. Next one is aquaculture. That's and the last one under livestock production. Aquaculture is just talking about fish farming, rearing of fish. You can see how they are raising fish here. So that is aquaculture. That is fish farming. Aquaculture is what? Fish farming. All these we have talked about under livestock production. We talk about apiculture, aquaculture, pig farming, poultry keeping, and so on. Now let's talk about the second branch of agriculture, and that is crop production. That is crop production. What is crop production? Crop production includes growing of arable. The crop production is arable farming. That means it includes growing of crops like annual crops. You know, annual crops are crops that complete their life cycle within one growing season. And we have examples like cereals and garden peas and so on. We have some crops that are annual crops. They complete their life cycle within one growing season. That's one. And another one, we have perennial crops and examples like coffee, tea, sugarcane. Those ones complete their life cycle after 2 years. So those are perennial crops. And I've given you example: coffee, tea, sugarcane, and so on. They complete their life cycle after 2 years. That's another one. Under crop production, we also have horticultural crops. And what are we talking about there? That's when we talk about pomology, olericulture, and floriculture. We'll look at what all these mean. Pomology is very simple. Pomology is growing of fruit. It's what? Growing of fruit. What is pomology? Pomology is growing of fruit. Our next one is olericulture. Olericulture is the growing of vegetables. That's all. The growing of vegetables, that is olericulture. Vegetables like French beans, cabbages, and tomatoes. So that is under olericulture, the growing of vegetables. And the third one is floriculture. That has to do with planting of flowers. Now let's go into the next branch of agriculture, and that is agriculture engineering. It's a branch of agriculture that deals with the use and maintenance of farm tools, machinery, and structures. All those machineries that we are using in today's farming. So agriculture engineering, like this type, they try to maintain all those farm tools and machines. Like this type now, you can see this. That's the work of agriculture engineering. In agriculture engineering, that's what they do. In agriculture engineering, that is what they do in maintaining the farm tools and machinery. So next one is, and that's the last branch, that's agriculture economics. Agriculture economics is a branch of agriculture which deals with the production and distribution of food. The distribution of food to different places, that's the work of agriculture economics. It's a branch of agriculture which deals with the production and distribution of foods. So we have talked about the 4 branches: agriculture economics, agriculture engineering, livestock production, and crop production. Those are the 4 branches we discussed today. In today's lesson, we have successfully talked about what agriculture is an art and science, and what do they do of cultivating the soil, growing crops, and raising of livestock. Agriculture is the art and science of cultivating the soil, growing crops, and raising of livestock. We talked about the four main branches of agriculture: livestock production, crop production, agricultural economics, and agricultural engineering. We also talked about livestock production. Under that, we have nomadic pastoralism or nomadic farming, poultry farming, pig farming, apiculture, and we also talked about the crop production, the annual crops, perennial crops. We also talked about so many new vocabularies you have gained today: pomology, the growing of fruit; agriculture, the planting of vegetables; apiculture, that's beekeeping; aquaculture, fish farming. Now on to evaluation and see how whether you fulfilled the promise you gave me when we started, 100% attention. I will know that through the answers you will supply. First question: what is agriculture? Number 2, define the following: pomology. B, oloriculture. Your time starts now. Eyes on me. Uncle Popo is there. I believe you are still there. Let's check the answers. Agriculture is the art and science of cultivating the soil, growing crops, and raising of livestock. Define the following: pomology is the growing of fruits. Oloriculture is the growing of vegetables. We have come to the end of today's lesson. Until next time, next lesson, Uncle Popo says, keep on studying. Bye.
Dear pupils, we've come to the end of another wonderful edition of your program, The Classroom in Your Home.
Hope that you enjoyed yourself. Now, I'm sure you're all looking forward to this segment of the program.
Definitely.
Because this is when we show the video of the week. And for me, these children are watching you. You wouldn't believe that.
They are watching us.
About what I saw in the videos that were posted is that they are watching every single move that you make.
Yes.
Please come to this side, man, while I show you. Okay. So we have Esther Makinde from Little Drop Peculiar School, Oshodi, mimicking Auntie Fumi with this wonderful video. Enjoy.
Hello, pupils. So welcome to another wonderful edition of your favorite program, The Classroom in Your Home. A program organized by the Lagos State Government and purchased by the Lagos State Universal Basic Education Board, LASUBEB, to ensure that you are continuously engaged academically despite school's closure. I am Auntie Fumi,
Yeah, Auntie
your
Fumi.
English studies teacher. And you know, I'm here with your wonderful teachers, the mathematician, Uncle Abaji.
Wow.
And your popular teacher, Uncle Popo. Hello,
Wow.
And we also have our sign interpreter, Uncle Neil. Together, we're bringing the classroom into your home. Stay tuned.
And for me, these children are watching you. She knows that when you want to say the classroom in your home,
I always
you always look back. Uncle Popo, they know that when you come in with your.
Wow.
It's good. Good job, you, Esther Mark in the Little Drop Peculiar School, Oshodi. Now, the link for today's online assessment is bit.ly/LASUBEB lesson 57. Link again is bit.ly/LASUBEB lesson 57. Remember, this is our way of knowing how well you are performing, because we want to help you improve on your performance all the time. Remember that you can also be a part of the program by sending in your 1-minute video of an activity that is relating to the classroom in your home. Specifically, the challenge for this week is for you to mimic Uncle Poco's introduction of the lesson.
Yes.
Perhaps Uncle Poco, somebody will just remember how to do all those.
Just the way we have the mini antiphony today.
Yes. That was really
I'm
wonderful.
waiting.
So we're expecting your 1-minute video, and we'll get to feature you on the program, Antiphony.
Taking the online assessment is based on if you have access to either your daddy's, your mommy's, your uncle's, or your auntie's Android or smartphones. If not, there's no problem about that. Just send your questions, your comments, and your homework to 081 50 86 5663. Please SMS and or WhatsApp messages only. Do not call. And when you are sending your homework, make sure you indicate your name, your
School.
what again?
Local government.
And your class. This is the only way we can identify you to be able to appraise you. Okupopo.
Today's lessons and previous lessons are on LASUBEB YouTube channel for you to watch over and over again. Subscribe to LASUBEB YouTube channel to get notification when new videos are uploaded. You can watch the classroom in your home on Facebook through the page showing on your screen.
Facebook Live, yes. Till our next lesson where we shall meet again on another wonderful edition of the classroom in your home. Please make sure you do your homework.
Wash your hands regularly.
You have not been asked to resume schools yet, so stay at home and
Stay safe. LASUBEB, leave no child behind.
Dear pupils, parents and guardians, let me start by thanking you for being a part of all our remote learning platforms, particularly our television program, The Classroom in Your Home. Each feedback has been awesome. Good job, you. Our teachers have been working assiduously to break the learning laws during this critical period. Therefore, I am pleased to inform you that the classroom in your home has been extended to accommodate the lower primary classes and a dedicated lesson to cater for our special needs pupils in line with our mandate of providing an all-inclusive and quality basic education in our dear state. This program is fully sponsored by the Universal Basic Education Commission, UBEC, and supported by the Lagos State Universal Basic Education Board under the COVID-19 Blended Learning Intervention Initiative. Please encourage your wards to tune in and take every advantage of this laudable program. Also remember, this pandemic is not over. Let us continue to abide by all health and safety guidelines as stipulated by the government. At LASUBEB, we are determined to leave no child behind in our quest to improve the standard of basic education in our state. Thank you.